Okay, so you may have heard of a game called Infinite Worlds. It's an AI-driven piece of software that allows you to sort of create your own stories with your own input and can go wherever you want with the story. It's not structured in any way. It's kind of interesting, but unfortunately it's open to the stupidity of the player and the ridiculousness of the player, as I'm about to demonstrate to you. And it's I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing. I mean, you're kind of limited by your own stupidity, I guess, and willingness to want to try and test the boundaries, which is what I've done here in a sort of stupendous way. So obviously if you play it seriously, you could probably get somewhere, but it's an ever-evolving thing. It has no structure and it's just reactionary based. So you're not really, you're playing a story rather than sort of reading about a story and someone else's experience, and you're not being taken away in the same way as reading someone else's stuff, if you catch my drift. So let me just read this to you. It's very short and sweet. I think I lasted 5 turns because it just devolved into ridiculous comedy, repugnant comedy. So if you look at this character here, this has been created from the prompts that you've put in. Gone for sort of cyberpunky theme. You know, she's got a bit of a warped finger, but she's got more than 4 fingers. Yeah, so that's very rudimentary and basic, but it kind of gives you an idea. So there's no sort of monitoring of whether the images are going to be right. It's just sort of a very random thing. You can swap the image, as you can see here. Let's just quickly try that, see what happens. Again, fingers. So it's using a very basic model. So let's keep that one for now. So I'll just read it to you. It just dives into just the most stupidest thing ever. The glow of your screen casts an eerie light across the cramped space of your apartment. The hum of electronics filling the air. Your eyes dart across the streams of data, the weight of the information pressing down on you like a physical force. You've done it. Infiltrated the most secure data fortress of Omnidyne Corp. But the elation of success is short-lived, as the true nature of what you've uncovered sinks in. Political assassinations, corporate espionage, a web of corruption that spans the globe, and at the center of it all, plans for the murder of the one person standing in the way of complete corporate domination, the Japanese president. The realization hits you like a punch to the gut. You have only a week to stop it. But there's no time to process the implications. Your instincts scream at you to move. Omnidyne will be tracing the hack. Their agents are already on the way. You have to run to disappear into the neon-lit labyrinth of the city before they find you. The clock is ticking, and the game has just begun. Your objective for this adventure is escape, stay alive, and foil Omnidyne's assassination plot. Okay, that's the overall story. So that's the sort of synopsis for the start of the game. Next turn. So I opted for contact a trusted fixer to arrange a safe house and transportation out of the city. Your fingers fly across the keyboard as you attempt to contact your trusted fixer, hoping to arrange a safe house and transportation out of Neo Tokyo. But as you send the message, you realize the gravity of your mistake. Your fixer's last known location was compromised weeks ago, and you have no way of knowing if they're even alive. Panic sets in as you frantically search for another contact, someone who can help you disappear into the sprawling metropolis. But your mind draws a blank, the stress of the situation clouding your judgment. You've relied too heavily on your tech skills and neglected the importance of maintaining a network of reliable contacts on the streets. As you sit paralyzed in front of your screens, The seconds tick by, each one bringing the agents of Omnidyne closer to your doorstep. You know you need to act fast to find another way out of this mess. But with your lack of street smarts, your options are limited. You'll have to think on your feet and improvise if you want to stay ahead of the corporation and their relentless pursuit. Okay. Hang on, let's go back. What? Hang on, I missed something here. So what happened next after that? Next turn, take off your clothes and just sit and wait is the option I just put in there. So you strip off your clothes, letting them fall in a heap on the floor. The cool air prickles your skin as you sit down on the edge of your bed, waiting for the inevitable. Your breathing is shallow, heart racing, adrenaline pumping through your veins. Minutes tick by, each one feeling like an eternity. The glow of the city outside filters through the grimy windows, casting long shadows across the room. The hum of the electronics is the only sound, a constant reminder of the digital web that ensnares you. Suddenly, a sound from the hallway snaps you back to attention. Footsteps, heavy and purposeful, growing louder with each passing second. They're here. Omnidyne's agents have found you. Your weakness feels like a vulnerability, a surrender to the forces that hunt you. The door bursts open, splintering wood and scattering debris. Silhouetted in the doorway are the agents, their armored forms backlit by the harsh fluorescent lights of the hallway. They move with military precision, weapons trained on you, faces obscured by dark visors. Chaos, one of them barks, voice distorted by a modulator. You're coming with us! Don't make this harder than it needs to be! Your mind races, searching for a way out, a loophole in the code of your fate. But there's nothing. No escape, no hack. Just a cold, hard reality of your predicament. So I thought, let's make this a little bit more interesting. Offer them free sex. Yeah, okay, I'm not even really naked. The agent's extreme, a brief, incredulous look at your desperate proposition. The leader's grip tightens on his weapon, voice trembling with disdain. Do you think we're stupid, Chaos, that we fall for such a pathetic attempt at distraction? You're nothing but a liability now, a loose ends to be tied up. He nods to his team, who begin to advance into the room. Weapons trained on you. Enough games. You're coming with us, one way or another. Don't make this any harder than it needs to be. Your heart pounds in your chest, mind racing to find a way out of this impossible situation. But with the agents closing in and no allies to call on, your options are rapidly dwindling. The net is tightening and time is running out. So what's you got left? Open your legs wide and spray them with urine in an attempt to fry the system. I can't even speak. Let me say it again. So the next option, open your legs wide and spray them with urine in an attempt to fry their systems. I don't know if I can continue reading this. The agent's visors flare with augmented reality displays, highlighting your naked, vulnerable form. The leader's lip curls in disgust as he barks an order. Enough games! Take her down! Non-lethal force only! The agents surge forward, their movements a blur of chrome and polymer. You try to lash out with a spray of urine, but they're too fast, too well trained. A dart impacts your neck, flooding your system with a paralytic agent. Your muscles seize, body crumbling to the floor in an undignified heap. Did you really think you could take us on, girl? The leader leans over you, his armored form blocking out the light. You're nothing but a bug to be squashed into the heel of Omnidyne. Your vision swims, consciousness fading as the agents close in, their faces impassive behind polarized visors. The last thing you see before the darkness takes you is the cold, unfeeling gaze of the leader, his eyes like chips of blue ice in a face carved from granite. You failed. The weight of your failure presses down like a mountain, crushing the breath from your lungs. The Japanese president will die, and with him, the last hope for a world free from corporate control. The realization is a knife in your gut, twisting and tearing, a pain beyond physical. Your adventure ends here. Game over. Yeah, so I think opening your legs to fry them, spraying them with urine in an attempt to fry the systems, I mean, that's the most ridiculously stupid thing that anyone I'm in disbelief. So you see how ridiculous and how a lot of fluff was written just regarding that whole scene. They could have expanded a bit. You might have, I don't know, the acidity in your urine could have dissolved the visor and given you an opportunity to lash out and clunk one over the head and steal one of his weapons. But alas, it didn't really, I couldn't really see where I was going with that. You know, it could have been a distraction enough, being naked. These sort of robotic agents were not falling for anything. So yeah, but luckily you can go back and choose a different answer. You know, maybe if I'd have said if it was highly toxic acidic urine that you happen to just squirt out, may have had a different outcome. It may have actually melted their visors and gassed them out so much. Or maybe if I'd have said that you flatulate and pass wind with this disgusting smell that even their visors cannot overcome, giving you enough time to jump out the window and abseil down the side of the building, you know. But it's just because there's no actual direction, it's open to the ridiculousness. And yeah, that's funny for a little bit, but it's not got much weight to it. And it's like, how much more are you going to do that? How many more times are you going to come up with the most ridiculous and sublime responses in a comedic fashion? And even if you were to take it seriously, it's like the writing is very typical. It's like, you know, there's no. I tried to inject some humor into that whole scene, and they weren't having any of it. It was still trying to be ultra serious, and that's the problem when you're dealing with this sort of AI that's taking things literally. But anyway, yeah, something fun to mess around with, I guess. But I think it won't replace something that's more structured. I think as a reader and to be entertained, you need something more structured, and having a free palette to do whatever you want is sounds good on paper, but it's not necessarily the best way to go forwards. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. You can try it out yourself.